Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Elite City Podcast. This week we have Rick and we have Biddy and we have a new television show.
Well, not us.
Yeah.
Well, not us. No,
AEW.
AEW
That would be pretty cool
That
if
would
suddenly
be
we
sick.
jumped to like a television show. We're like,
That would-
yeah, now
that'd be-
we're on TV.
Yeah.
No, AEW has a new television show.
Yeah.
No one wants to see you nerds on TV.
That's true.
They'd be
I know, they
afraid of
made a couple-
Blasko.
Made a couple movies about it. I take that to heart. That's like, I mean, like in a good way. The people are scared of me. That's funny. That's hilarious to me.
So
I've
anyway,
been-
going on.
been-
Collision
Collision.
at the United Center in Chicago.
What?
June 17th.
I know. I'm shocked. I'm
June
so shocked.
17th.
I would have never guessed. Tony
It
Khan bought all
won't.
these
It
tickets.
won't happen. But can you imagine if they had it there and then CM Punk just wasn't? Like he's like, oh, we didn't say he was coming.
It's the perfect opportunity to do this. Trust me. It would be absolutely incredible.
At no point did we ever mention CM Punk. We made a point to not mention CM Punk. He's not going to be here.
Correct. So I'm surprised he did get some chance though when they
Yes.
announced where it was going to be. I was
Yeah, less than I thought. Less of a reaction than I thought he'd get, but the crowd wasn't great on Dynamite. I found.
I agree. They were a little. I don't know. They were off. It was
Now there's
definitely
also
off.
I've also heard that like the pay-per-view is not sold out, which last year it did sell out. Do you
Oh,
think
okay.
do you think Vegas, like I know they go to Vegas every year because that's Double or Nothing and they want to make it a
Mhm.
thing. But do you think that they should move on for next year? Like has Vegas had it too often?
Well,
Yeah, as Jericho said, 8 months ago now, if we're a professional company, we need to start acting like it. You got to give everybody a chance. Like I get that, even Vince has certain arenas that he likes to run, but you're building a business. You don't need to be in the same place 3 years in a row. Or
Yeah,
whatever
I
it is.
think they want to make it like a tradition, like Double or Nothing is always in Vegas. But
Yeah, but like I don't know. To me, instead of make it Double or Nothing, do like how Arthur Ashe is just like a special Dynamite. Then
right,
like,
yeah, I'm not saying
like if
I'm not saying leave Vegas entirely. I'm just saying
yeah. But yeah,
maybe
do
put a
like,
pay-per-view somewhere else.
Yeah, definitely. do it
Atlantic
somewhere
City, baby, woo!
There you go.
We're saying that, and he'll just go like, oh, and somewhere else. Okay, Chicago.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I don't know. There's a big love for Toronto right now.
That's true. It's true.
So
I realized after I go to Collision and Forbidden Door, I'm getting in early this week.
that is early. That's
Yeah.
sick.
Weirdly enough, the only show I will have not gone to is Dynamite.
That is an odd stat.
Yes, but anyway,
Very odd stat to
nobody
have.
cares about that. Moving on.
Moving on. Okay, so I'm just gonna preface this totally on my own. I went down a major rabbit hole for the past week and did some really cool stuff. And I uncovered a lot of cool stuff that has to do with the work of CM Punk. And work is in quotations, not his work as in work in the ring, as being able to work people and manipulate people. And he's not a bad guy at all, it turns out.
I'm so excited about this.
It it is actually
Can't
one
wait
of the
to hear.
most genius things successfully ever pulled off in the history of professional wrestling. And I'm going to give you a background on it here. First and foremost, this took me over 18 hours. and
Oh my
and
gosh.
I know. And I say this because I actually set a timer when I'd be like looking at stuff and
That's incredible. I can't
Yeah, it
remember the
is.
last thing that took me 18 hours of work.
I know. Okay, so we all know that the history of the work, we're going to keep saying work in quotation marks, is a ruse, comes from the carnivals. They just wanted your money. That's what it comes down to. X-Pac said it best on his podcast years ago, or not years ago, about a year ago, that for some reason, professional wrestling isn't respected in any means whatsoever for what it is. And like he was like, you go to a movie, that Jason Voorhees isn't real, but you were still scared, weren't you? Yeah, you were still freaked out. People suspend that disbelief. Whereas in wrestling, people just say, oh, it's stupid, it's fake, they're dumb, it's fake, blah, blah, blah. So that's going to come full circle here in a second. So this this term comes up from the carnival. It's called kayfabe. Kayfabe is basically the speech that they use to talk to each other, to let the person that doesn't know they're getting worked, that, oh, this guy, you could take his money. So uh, it gets very serious because the mob gets involved. So anytime the mob gets involved with anything, especially like in the 30s and 40s, I mean, they had a grip on the American economy into the government, for God's sake. I mean, the mob pretty much ruled everything by force. So them getting involved in the business and keeping it safe, it would be like, okay, we let you in. Now, there's no contract here, there's no nothing, but see that guy in the corner over there? He will destroy your life if you tell anybody our little secret. Like, it was kind of ruled with an iron fist, and nobody ever broke the handshake agreement for decades. So, okay, things in the 70s like really picked up to the point of guys took this so seriously that wives didn't know that their husband was like that wrestling was fake, and that their husband wasn't this great athlete, or he had to be an asshole in public, excuse my language, because he had to be that. Like, they lived the characters. Unreal. And my favorite story that I found out during this little thing, I've told Rick this story before. It was from a YouTube video about the territories, where Blackjack Mulligan was a heel and he was in the heel car. Like, the heels and faces even traveled together, if you didn't know this. Like, unbelievable. Different hotels, different restaurants. It's a level of insanity that only insane people can deal with. And they're all insane. So it gets even better. So anyways, uh the face car gets a flat tire. They're on the side of the road changing their flat tire, and it's 2 o'clock in the morning, whatever. Well, the heels see that, oh, it's our buddies, let's go, help them change their tire. Well, the cops see, two cars pulled over, and, oh, there's a citizen in trouble. Blackjack Mulligan grabs a spare tire, throws it over the guardrail, kicks the car off to Jack, and says, ha ha ha, you won't make it to the next town, you idiots. And just, the heels get in the car and they just leave. And the baby faces like were like had to explain to the cops, like, yeah, man, we just wrestled him, and he said he was going to come after us, and look, I mean, look what he did. They play this up. The next time they run a show, the cops try to shut it down because, like, he was a wanted man for, like, abusing these other men. And they, like, of course, somehow nobody breaks it. Like, he tries to fight the police, and it the show happens. Like, when in the world does that ever happen other than in the 1970s in the United States? Like, it's unbelievable. So, okay, so we're gonna bounce ahead to our buddy Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Possibly
He
the
has
worst human being on earth.
possibly the worst human being on earth.
I mean, not ever,
But
but maybe today.
oh yes, living today, I will 1000% agree with that. Um, he also is the like people he call him the P.T. Barnum of the 20th century, and he believes in the work, and he might have pulled two of the biggest works of all time. And the first one that he actually did pull was when he wore his neck brace in front of Congress during his steroid trial, which had nothing to do with him having a broken neck, and just bought him the pity that he needed to win against the government for supplying his wrestlers with steroids. Unbelievable story. Like, what kind of human being does something like that? Okay, a human being that 1000% believes in something. And pro wrestling, and as I said, and the people involved, every damn one of them at one time was insane. Today they are normal. Now this more normal, we'll say. They're still insane. Um, the next um, bit of kayfabe does come from um, WWF again. Is the whole Brett and Shawn situation. Now this is where Vince. There's two fields of thought on this. I personally think it was real, but there's a whole group of people that think it's fake and have so many little coincidences that like Brett and Sean could have totally been best friends through all of that and nobody would have known because Vince stayed out of it. And like if you think about Vince in general, especially then, like when they were really starting to pick up, do you wholeheartedly think he would wanted two of his best guys to like have like legit scandals going on? Like, I don't know. I think he would have like he would have buried that, at least tried to kill the story instead of making it a storyline. Like nobody's that insane, but that's my people think he is that insane to live by this. Now, his his second biggest um uh work that he possibly ever pulled is the Montreal Screwjob. And Rick, I have said this to you many times. I wholeheartedly think he did. And I'm going to prove it to you right now.
All right. All right.
And Biddy, do you have any feelings on the Montreal Screwjob? Seriously, no jokes aside.
Oh, I mean,
And
catch
that's
me
not
off.
one of the movies your company's produced.
I mean,
Ah,
you know
they
what? I
went.
wonder if there has to be a joke one about that. Anyway, no, I think it was legit that, yeah.
Okay, now this is how far Vince McMahon would go to pull off the perfect work, to just pull off the perfect work. Okay, it was set up perfectly, the whole work, the whole screw job, for the one thing that this was the biggest FU to WCW. WCW did break the number one rule of professional wrestling. They gave away Vince's main event when Vince's belt changed hands. Vince took that more personally than anything probably that has ever been done to him on any level. So this is where people come in and say that this is where the WCW thing comes through. He knew that they were so inept. He was going to give them the perfect thing on a platter. What would that be? Bret Hart. How would he give it to them on a platter? He just beat the hell out of Vince McMahon and is going to show up on his show or show up on their show like a week later. And Vince is going to show up on TV with a black eye. And what's he going to do? He is basically like he's giving WCW all this fuel and they totally dropped the ball on it. And Vince, like, he played it up. Vince never, like, he always plays the victim. I mean, yeah, he played the victim there, yeah, but he did get, like, quote unquote, beat up. When, like, he has never done that. Like, he would have put makeup on the black eye, didn't do that. Like, it goes deep. The second thing is whenever Brett spells out WCW on live television, he also does it backwards so the camera you would read it on television the right way. Who in their right mind, who if that was real and just got screwed over, would have said, I should write this backwards so people understand on television what I'm writing. That just always I always found that part weird. So it goes back further to even there is a group of people that think that Vince was kind of pulling the strings with Hall and Nash down there, like telling them how to run, like not run the NWO, but like how it should be done, because they were all like basically Vince type ideas that were being thrown around at the time. Again, I have no concrete evidence on any of that. That's just a group of people that think that. But hold on, it's about to get even better. So you take all that into and like I did just kind of put over Vince McMahon of basically doing anything for the wrestling business and especially his company. So, who worked at his company? CM Punk. Who is never sleeps besides Vince McMahon and is up at all hours of the night? CM Punk. Who used to have ungodly long text conversations with Vince McMahon while they were both working out in the middle of the night? CM Punk. So, CM Punk is basically learning from the master. He could say whatever he wants, but pretty much everything other than like I don't think Punk being like hating Vince and like I mean Punk was actually sick and had the thing in his back and he hates WWF and all that. But while he was there, he made a hell of a lot of money and he really never complained as much as people say that he does. Now, the one thing that he did learn from Vince, if you're going to work people, every single person that is involved in the work has to prosper. Hence the WCW thing. He was giving them Brett on a silver platter with a storyline ingrained that they said Vince's name on TV every week, except when they had the hitman there to say, yeah, I beat that guy up. Your champion means nothing to me. Like, give me Eric Bischoff because I beat the owners up. Like, that's genius. They never did it. Like, but Vince made sure he didn't bury Brett. I mean, he buried Brett on WWF television, but he didn't Brett wasn't pushed away with his tail between his legs. Neither was Shawn. The torch was passed to Shawn. Who made the most money out of all this? Vince himself. Same three people. It's crazy. So, 2020 happens, pandemic happens. What do we find out happened during the pandemic? CM Punk, Tony Khan, Cody Rhodes, and the Bucks start having these really long and drawn out text conversations. What do you think well, let's see, that's not three, that's five wrestling nerds would sit around and do if they had an unlimited budget? You'd probably try to pull the biggest work in the history of the business, would you not? Yes, no? I mean,
Yeah, I can see
okay.
that. I'm
Now,
I'm not necessarily with you on the Bret Hart stuff, but I'm with you on the CM Punk stuff. So keep going.
oh, well, hold on. We're going to go back to Vince here in a second.
All right.
And this is so Punk has all this animosity towards Vince. So he starts spilling the beans for the first time ever, but to people that can actually use the information. Now, like, could Punk go to the internet and say, oh, yeah, Vince was going to do this, Vince was going to do that, he dropped the ball on this? Okay, that would have been dead and gone in 2 seconds. But if you take all that knowledge and use his own stuff against him, here's where you come to the one of the biggest things that Vince possibly ever pulled. People say that he killed kayfabe. He killed the industry by letting all the secrets out, letting him do that. A lot of people also think that is a work to actually save the business because it was getting to the point where like the internet was existing, like people were going to leak stuff. Vince was smart enough to know in business that like corporate leaks exist. They weren't corporate yet, but if you basically tell everybody, hey, it's dead, man. Then look, it's the 90s. The internet is here. You know, yeah, these guys, the bad guys hang out with the good guys. They eat dinner together. Some of them are married and they're not really with the person that they're married with on TV, blah, blah, blah. But that was just a work to save everybody's job. And I like that one. I don't know how I feel about it, but I could totally see it working because you fast forward to today. What does everybody complain about on the internet? Kayfabe being dead, works being dead, guys not living their gimmick. So what could you possibly do right now when you have 2 years to just text a bunch of wrestling nerds? Set up the biggest work in the history of the pro wrestling business and just feed them something that they haven't been fed in like 25 years. So we're gonna fast forward to it's more of AEW based now. We're in the pandemic. Punk, Tony, the Bucks, all them, they're basically texting nonstop. So the world is totally shut down. They're succeeding with the Daily's Place stuff, and this is where Punk himself has said, like, it would have been such a bad time to bring me in. It would have been such a bad time to bring me in. Why? It would have been the best time to bring him in if you think about a company wanting to make money, because he would just be on your ratings would have went through the roof because you were based on people watching from home. And Punk's an old school guy, so he could sit there and he could say, "Oh, well, see, it needed to be for the fans. It needed to be for the fans." No, you set a division where not a division. You plant the seed that he was kind of indignant to, like Tony Khan, like, oh, Tony said it would be really cool, but no, I'm going to make him wait. Like, the people have to come back. We didn't know that live events would be ever returning. Like, it was a very big gamble when Tony Khan could have easily just said, "No, your money, we need it right now. We're a growing company. Here's the checkbook." But I don't know. I always just found that weird. Anyways, CM Punk also loves playing the heel. Um, the whole pipe bomb. Again, Vince is an insane person. If CM Punk really, if that was not 100% planned and really went off script, pretty sure Vince would have probably murdered him and not let him say more than like the 2 sentences before they would have cut his mic. That's the one big thing. Dude talked for too long. But hold on. It just comes back to, again, if it was real, Vince also lets that happen because you never know what's going on with him, because his life, he literally just projects circus around him at all time. So if it's real and he lets it go, I don't know. It's that suspension of disbelief that you never know what's going to happen. But then they drop the ball with that too. So anyways, we're going to go to we're going to flash forward again to Brawl Out here. Now, all I'm going to say is this is where everything gets like super mega weird and almost follows the Vince formula to pretty much a T, and it's very scary. Starting with, what are the chances that, I mean, if, Betty, you know what it does, what it takes to produce like a television show, produce a movie or something. What are the chances that a reality television show is going to take place in your locker room? But oh wait, the film crew is going to start only a week after your biggest star beats the hell out of supposedly 3 other of your biggest stars, and you'd have missed the biggest moment, wouldn't you? That's weird. As doesn't make any sense to me. Second, like, you suspend the Bucks and you suspend Kenny and you call out Cole Cabana. You call out Cole Cabana and you CM Punk calls out Chris Jericho, calls out Tony Khan. Again, straight out of Vince's playbook. What do all these people? What can they do? They can take care of themselves. If CM Punk wanted to talk about amateurs, like, he could have talked about Sammy Guevara. He could have talked about Darby, but he always chose to put those people over. He, like, you know, he never once talks about Brandon Cutler. Never once. Why? Because of the elite. Brandon Cutler is like, everybody knows he's their friend that's not the millionaire. Like, he's just their friend that they gave a contract to. He's a good wrestler, but like, he's not one of them. So like, Punk didn't say, "Oh, the guy that's the actual amateur, Brandon Cutler, he sucks." No, he made fun of Kenny, the Bucks, said they were the amateurs, the guys that have money coming out of their wazoo. Colt Cabana, I mean, you can't drive through Chicago without seeing him on a billboard. Jericho, I mean, obviously. I mean, Tony Khan. The only person in this is kind of like sort of suspect is Ace Steel, but again, playing the heel, CM Punk takes care of him. It's his friend. Blah blah blah. Did he bite a guy? Probably not. just saying.
I
So,
just want to say that I think the CM Punk whole drama is wrapping up because he's coming back.
right.
I just want to say I hope we never forget that Kenny Omega tried to save a dog and then got bit by a person.
Yes.
I hope we
Yeah.
never ever forget how amazing that story is in
Oh,
every
yeah.
way. I just want to cut in and say that that's the greatest, work or shoot, I don't care. That's the greatest story. And I don't even care if it actually happened. I want to believe it happened, and I think it's amazing.
Oh, it's totally amazing. And again, just on the All Out card, again, uh, people that Punk could have made fun of that were legit amateurs. Jade, the Acclaimed, could have buried them all day. What were they going to say? The guy that's actually wrestled at WrestleMania and has been world champion. Oh man, like I should step up my game. Like maybe I am an amateur. But no, he attacked the Bucks, the people that were clearly not amateurs. But oh, that was only page one. We're moving on. um, he also learned from Vince McMahon that you also have to have the media on your side and you have to excuse my stupid wrestling company name, but you have to control your narrative. And it, you do in wrestling because again, all these people are insane and they have for life lived by this handshake agreement. So who is the talent that CM Punk goes after all the time? Always attacks Meltzer. Why? Again, Meltzer's taken care of. He's made in the shade. Doesn't matter what anybody says or thinks about Meltzer. Meltzer has he's also like one of the boys. He is one of the few people in the 80s and 70s that was allowed in an actual wrestling locker room that wasn't a wrestler. So if they're having these text conversations and Punk sends Meltzer a text and says, "Hey, we want to pull off the biggest work of all time, and we're going to bury the fuck out of you, but you're going to get like your name's going to be mentioned a lot." Um, I'm sure he's going to agree to that, and they're going to trust him. So you have Dave on your side. Again, Punk never attacks Fightful, Sean Ross Sapp. Like it's weird how he doesn't go after the new people who like. I'm not saying that Sean Ross Sapp isn't viable, but like he doesn't have the built-in like Meltzer has been making money off of the newsletter since like the 70s. Like Fightful is new. That's I don't know. So I don't. So Punk would look at him as like a Darby Allin in the media aspect. So, anyways, goes on. Uh, so Dave being accepted into the locker room, like that in general, in that time, is just insane. And I know him and Punker. I mean, he's been on their show or whatever a couple times. Um, they claim they're not friends or they're friends or I don't know. But again, it's wrestling. It does it matter? Like why is that even like a stat? I've never announced friendship to people. Like only in wrestling does that matter. Like are we friends? I don't know. Like does it matter? It's just weird to me. Um, but also Meltzer is kind of like the cornet of the wrestling media because if it comes out of his mouth and it's reported in the newsletter, more than likely it's probably going on. So if you have him on your side and you're about to pull this off, you're made in the shade. So like a ton of the AEW talent has also gone on record and said that other than your character, it was Malachi Black said this on his Twitch channel. Like other than your character, like your character you have like the most input with, but everything else is like pretty much on a need to know basis, like backstage. So I don't know. I've said on here a couple times, like obviously the more people you tell, the easier it is for leaks to happen. Well, if you also have a locker room under the understanding that, hey, something might happen, but you might find out when it happens on TV. Like, I mean, we even saw on All Access, Britt and Tony knew that Adam Cole was coming back. Like, that's pretty gnarly in this day and age that they can actually make that happen. And what we're it's that's just nuts. But um, so AEW has basically built itself off of like the legends. So in this locker room where you have all these young people, you also have all like the old people. So imagine when they have this meeting one day, which again, it's this either did or did not happen according to who you talk to. But again, wrestling works are pretty much like conspiracy theories, and they're kind of at least start in truth, but then after that, it's anybody's game. But if Arn Anderson, Sting, Dean Malenko, Tully Blanchard, Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, Dustin Rhodes, and probably at the time Cody Rhodes sat you down and said, look, we're going to do something that hasn't been done in this business in like 30 years. And if you mess it up, aka by telling people that, we're going to go back to like, we might pull big work off, basically. If you go to the wrestling media and say things like that, uh, yeah, you'll be that guy and you'll be famous for about 10 minutes, but like you're destroying everybody's life here. So do you actually want to be that guy? And then again, like if Sting tells you to do something, you probably listen, just saying. Now, this is where things get very interesting. WrestleMania 39, April 1st and 2nd, 2023. So, for the past 58 days, either CM Punk or AEW has been trending. The only 2 days since WrestleMania that wasn't trending was April 1st and April 2nd. Um, if you notice, the one thing that CM Punk has never done during this whole thing was bury AEW. Again, right out of Vince's book. Company is always first when the work is involved. Um, in WWE's biggest event cycle, AEW actually trended more days on Twitter than AEW. Than WWE. AEW didn't have to spend a single dollar on that. Who is all that because? CM freaking Punk. Since Brawl Out, 263 days have passed to the day tonight that Punk he has been more relevant for those 263 days than when he was actually active as a on on air talent. He has trended in the top 10 on Twitter almost every day since Brawl Out. Think about that. A guy who hasn't been on television for 263 days has been in the top 10 on Twitter trends pretty much every day since. Pretty nuts, because who is he associated with? The second biggest pro wrestling company in the country. Um, we just ended an 18-month storyline with the Elite that took place. It was on television, social media, it was on YouTube, it was everywhere. Because this is the future. Like wrestling has evolved and people haven't even realized it yet. The Elite have now taken it to this level. So why not work everybody using social media? It's never been done before. So of course you pull off the biggest one in history. But we're going to go even a step further than that. Now, I just went through like all those little stupid single little facts there about Twitter trends and all that. To me, that was the most impressive part of all this. During freaking WrestleMania season, WWE spends bajillions of dollars. AEW basically just brought up a fight that happened 6 months ago and overtook the airwaves again because, quote unquote, CM Punk's a bad guy. He has played the bad guy through this whole entire thing and never once spoke up for himself. But you also know what he didn't do? Also, never once since Brawl Out said one single negative thing about any single person on the AEW roster. So when all these things
Except for
start
Jericho.
going, but Jericho's obviously involved. Called him a stooge. Okay,
Right.
that what did they call that? Um, that was a WWE term for people that followed McMahon around. That's
Right.
why it
Yeah.
was
Patterson and Briscoe. Yeah.
that's the Patterson and Briscoe thing. Um, like again, you can attack Chris Jericho all day. It's part of that formula that you don't attack somebody that can't like like if he would bury somebody like it's terrible to say Sky Blue, like he
Yeah.
would have
Like
a chance against.
Jericho's gonna be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like he can call Jericho a stooge all day, and Jericho's still going to be Chris Jericho at the end of the day. Um, the the coincidences on the other side which like things not lining up and things not making sense, they kind of just almost don't exist. And that's again the other part. It's almost like, oh, not only are things too perfect, like almost everything that has to line up lines up. So going through that mishmash of everything that took me like almost 40 minutes or 30 minutes. I hope I didn't bore anybody first off. I hope I didn't ramble too much. Um, I hope I changed your mind because it made me think way more than I thought about things in a long time, especially in professional wrestling. Now everybody's quiet and I'm scared.
I do think that there's definite work elements to all of this, including like the Brett and Sean stuff, and I think
Yeah.
wrestling is like a
Oh,
carny,
totally.
like a carny liar industry. Like that Behind the
Yeah.
Bastards podcast we were talking about, and
No.
it's really good if anyone hasn't listened to the
Yes.
Behind the Bastards Vince McMahon. It's disturbing but good.
Yes.
They basically say like all wrestlers are just lying all the time, and it's true. Like they're
Yeah.
lying constantly. I think that all the lying though gets them into actual trouble. And that's where I think a lot of the works turn into shoots and shoots turns into works and people aren't necessarily sure. I can see the Brett and Sean thing starting out as a work, like, oh, we're gonna say, stuff about our personal lives to make people think
Right.
that we really hate each other. But then like you take it too far and then you never meet up with the guy later to be like, hey, that's just a work. Don't worry. I don't actually mean that. And you actually like get your feelings hurt. I think Bright and Sean worked themselves into a shoot. I think a lot of the stuff is works that turn into shoots. And I think the Punk thing is definitely along those. I think a lot of this is Punk working. I've thought since the beginning, like Punk is working.
1000%.
The only thing that I wasn't sure of is everybody else in on it, or is Punk working and thinks they're all in on it, but they're actually getting upset.
Oh, no, they're in on it.
Because he hasn't told them, right? That's the only thing that I'm doubting. Like I think when he went off on that press conference, he probably was tired and hurt and upset, but also part of it, like there was a work element to that. And I just don't know if he was sure that he wasn't upsetting someone else. Like I could say to you, hey, on this podcast, I'm going to come out and I'm going to make fun of you. And you're going to go, yeah, that's cool. Don't worry.
Right.
Make fun of me. And then I say something about like your mom or something, and it's really mean. And you're just like, hey, I didn't know that was what you were going to do. And now you're like legitimately mad at me. I think that's an element that came into play here, but I don't know where it started personally.
Again, like there's so many loose ends. It's just interesting to me. And
I want to hear what Biddy has to say, because we've talked about this a lot,
curious.
but Biddy hasn't talked about this a lot. So
I mean, I have in the past. I think it legit turned into a blow up, and then they're like, all right, how can we get past this? And I guess we're seeing it about to come to fruition.
I can see that.
I don't think of it as deeply as you guys do.
Oh, I don't know. It just bugs me, and I went down the rabbit hole, and just anything you watch of his, like of Punk's, like his WWE documentary. I went and watched that again when I was in the middle of all this, and like even on there, like he basically admits that like, oh, I'm really not that like grumpy of a human being. Like I don't know, he kind of let a little bit of himself shine.
Something that's always stuck with me on the WWE side was then when he did that pipe bomb. He, I think to this day, will still say like, "Oh yeah, they let me say whatever I want, and they didn't know what I like." Obviously, they knew what he was gonna like. You're right.
Totally.
They don't cut you. They don't. They would, if he legitimately went on, just started like insulting the McMahon family, they could have ended that and whenever they wanted to end that.
Yes.
That idea that like, oh, I wasn't signed until the day of Money in the Bank, and then I decided, yeah, like that was no, you were like there was no way that they were gonna promote a John Cena CM Punk match and not know if he was going to show up. Like they definitely had already had him booked. So the fact that he continues to work that situation, even though like that doesn't benefit him now to say that like,
Right.
oh yeah, they didn't think I was going to show up. Like it really doesn't benefit him, except for just wanting to keep like the illusion alive.
There is, which I didn't go down this rabbit hole, but there is an entire group, like section of the internet thinks that the Punk and Colt Cabana like friendship loss is a work.
Yeah.
Like, how,
I mean, Punk is the kind of guy who you could see doing all this stuff as a work. I don't know that it is, but I definitely feel that he's the guy who likes to work people.
And again, he's taking all the heat, and like I hope that's what I was trying to portray, I guess. Is in the end he's taking all the heat. Like people like are bad mouthing him and
Right.
saying like how good the company is.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's working out too well for his quote unquote character, and then the company. I don't know.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I don't know about all of it, but I could see the bones of it make sense.
Like I said, I just went down the rabbit hole and started to write a lot of stuff down, and and like it's nuts. The wrestling business is absolutely insane.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Like the amount.
It's weird that they still have this. Like, we should move on at some point, but
totally.
It's weird that they still have this like carny attributes to them.
Yes.
When like it is 2023, like you haven't been in carnivals, and like none of these people have worked in carnivals. So like, what are you doing?
Well, Regal's probably
Regal.
like the last. The Regal's
Right.
probably like the last of the people.
Right.
Anyways, we also had Dynamite last night.
Yes.
Rick's, you're gonna yell at Biddy here in a second.
Oh no!
Show.
Don't tell him.
Well, he's gonna find out eventually.
I could have lied.
How dare you, Biddy? How dare you?
How dare you dare me?
But good news, because we're basically going to do our Double or Nothing predictions at this point.
Yes.
And go with the Double or Nothing card, and we'll talk about stuff that happened on Dynamite, but we're not going to go through match by match, because I don't know about how either of you necessarily felt about Dynamite. It was a relatively inconsequential Dynamite in my eyes.
Yeah.
Like it was fine, but like I could tell that they were just like, don't get hurt before the pay-per-view, and that was like the goal of Dynamite, which is fine, but like it wasn't like a groundbreaking show that if you're gonna miss one, Biddy, this is okay.
I missed half of it.
Yeah, it's all good.
But anyway, Double or Nothing.
Double or Nothing. Biddy, you have your predictions wrote down?
Yes.
All right.
Sick. Wow, I'm
awesome.
gonna eat those words. I was totally
kidding. There you
go. Well, let's start with probably the match that I think would be first on the card, which is Ethan Page and the Guns.
Yeah, I think they said that's the whatever is it called, the buy-in still, or whatever the pre-show is called.
Oh, that's on the. I didn't even realize that was.
I think so. I could be wrong.
I think I just read where it's gonna be the first. I don't know. Don't listen to me. Oh, here.
I don't know. Anyway, the match is happening.
Yes.
Yeah, Ethan Page and the Guns versus the Hardys and Hook. Mm-hmm. And if Hardy Party wins, they take control of Ethan Page's contract. I think the Hardys win, or Hardys and Hook, excuse me.
Yeah. Why so much contract stuff? Every Matt Hardy angle for like a while has involved contracts.
It's so odd. Like
Matt Hardy, like almost everything he's been in, even when he was with. Remember, when he was trying to be Big Money Matt, he was trying to recruit people over. That involved contracts. Like he tried to give Hangman a contract. Like Hardy just has a thing for like contract related storylines. Like that's what all of his storylines seem to be.
That's how he got screwed with the firm, right? They
right.
like won his contract.
Right. There's been so many contract related storylines. But yeah, I agree with you. Hardys and Hook win. Because you don't list a stipulation and then go, that's not gonna happen.
Right. That's 3-way tie. That's everyone.
But I personally I get that it'd probably be funny if he owns Ethan Page, but I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care either. Like, it's just dumb. I kind of feel bad for Ethan Page.
I agree.
I mean, he gets to work with the Hardys. I mean, that's awesome. Like, but I mean, it's just going to be
It's a
idiocy.
little odd. Yeah.
Yeah. The 21-man Blackjack Battle Royal for the International Championship.
Yes.
I'm not going to name everybody's in it, but I'm picking Ricky Starks to win.
All right. Okay.
Hmm.
I just want to say a couple things before I get to my pick. First of all, I get why they did it because it's,
Yeah.
you can only have so many people on. You can only have so many matches on a show. I get it.
Yeah.
But it kind of sucks that Ricky Starks and Jay White and also Swerve and Keith Lee are just in this as opposed to having their own matches, because I think those matches would be more interesting than this match.
I agree with you.
I 1,000% agree with you.
These just get so convoluted and hard to follow for the most part.
And it probably won't be that long, right? I mean,
yeah, I just kind of glaze over when these kind of things go on.
yeah.
Oh,
I'm-
see,
I'm-
I love
I
me a
say-
good battle royal.
I say Orange Cassidy because I think he's had a really good run, and I don't think it's going to end in a battle royal.
Nice.
Yeah,
Biddy?
that was my thoughts as well.
Okay, see, I went out on a limb. Let's go, Ricky Starks. Go, Ricky Starks. All right. Adam Cole versus Chris Jericho. There's a stipulation, but I didn't write it down.
It's
unsanctioned.
it's unsanctioned.
Yeah, unsanctioned. That's
Whatever you do, AEW is not responsible for. And we have a special enforcer, I think, or maybe
Yes.
it's a manager. I'm not sure.
I don't care what anyone says. When Sabu came out last night, literally just stood up and applauded. No idea why. That's a true story.
I expected literally anyone but Sabu. Like, if you would have given me 100 guesses and I never
Totally
would have
would've
said,
never
I
guessed
never would have
Sabu.
said Sabu. There's no way. Can he
Um,
still move around?
I was gonna
I
say,
have
is
no-
he like 60?
Yeah, I have no idea like what he can actually do.
he's gonna do something, and I have a big prediction. Rob Van Dam shows up during this match.
Yeah. All right. I could.
Has to
Yeah.
happen.
Okay. Yeah.
Has
Okay.
to happen.
So is he the? I know the graphic said special enforcer, but Adam Cole said he's on. Basically, he's to even the odds. So I don't know if he's.
I have
This is
no
another.
idea.
AEW does have a problem with they don't explain stuff like this. Where they're just like, he's a special enforcer, or he's on Adam Cole's side, or whatever. Sabu's there. Just look at him. Like, it's a little.
See?
Yeah.
It's not, since it's not sanctioned. They don't have the paperwork.
That's right. They don't have to specify. All right. What's your pick?
Oh, Adam Cole. Sorry.
Yeah, mine's Adam Cole too.
Yep, same.
If it's Jericho, I'm gonna be so mad. Like, I'll be very upset.
Yeah, I agree.
I could see it being Jericho only because it's Chris Jericho and that's what happens in his matches. But I really hope it's not. I really, really hope it's not. Do you think Kyle O'Reilly shows up?
See, like I think he would be due, but I also don't know how long, like, neck surgery. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that seems like something you could be either out for like 6 months or a year and a half.
Yeah,
How
I don't
long
think-
has it's been.
It's been like over a year, hasn't it? Or almost a year.
Yeah,
It's been
it's
close to a year.
He was in the finals. He was in the finals of the Owen tournament or the semifinals of the Owen tournament. I think that was his last match.
so yeah, about a year.
Yeah.
That was about a year.
Yeah. Man, poor Bobby Fish.
Poor Bobby Fish.
That's someone said that Sabu took his place in the Undisputed Elite.
I would love if that was true. Like, Kyle O'Reilly came back, they were just the Undisputed Elite, and with like the hand signs, and they just ignored that fact that Sabu was here now. Like, they just pretended he was always there. Like, oh no, it was
Right.
always Sabu. Like, it was
Right.
never. No, what are you talking about? No, we've had Sabu the whole time.
That's incredible. TBS Championship. Jade
Oh,
versus Jesus, holy hell. Jade versus Taya. Taya.
Now, before
beats
we
Jade.
pick, what
Yeah,
did you
oh,
think?
sorry.
Oh, you no. Before we pick, what did you think of the Taya Lady Frost match?
Crushed. They blew the doors off the building.
Really, I thought it was eh.
Oh wow. Damn.
I think this is not, maybe I haven't seen enough. Taya hasn't done much for me yet.
Okay.
Like, I haven't been, like, she's fine, but I haven't been like super impressed with her. And maybe I'm just not paying attention enough, but
see, that's what I'm going to go back and watch. Is that match because I did want to see it. just
Yeah,
ran
I
out of
watched
time
Dynamite
today.
late. Like I watched it like an hour after it aired, so I might have just been really tired, and that's why I wasn't that into it. Because like Taya was winning that match. There's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why I wasn't that into it. But anyway, so your pick, Blasko, was
I think Taya beats Jade because
all right.
okay, well, hold on, real quick question. I know she won 2 matches last week, but didn't they were saying she was 60-0? Was she not only 59?
I thought that too. I didn't look it
Okay.
up, but I really thought she was 59-0.
Same here. I thought she won 57 or 58 and 59.
Yeah, so did I. I thought like that's exactly what happened, but
So
apparently
yeah, her
not.
being at an even number, she's 100% losing because she's not defending 10 more times.
I think she does win. I think Jade retains because I still think that
Wow.
they're waiting. Still think they're waiting for Statlander. I could see Taya winning because she lost the first time and they are setting it up as like potential for her to win. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think that this is their way of giving Jade some adversity before she eventually loses. But I don't think she loses yet.
Okay.
I'm just
Biddy?
so bored with it. I don't even care.
I agree. Jade
Same.
needs to do more. Like she does. Like she.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's just so like, yep, here we go. Oh, yep, same thing happened. I'm bored.
And it's weird. I think I've said this before. It's weird that at this point, like beating Jade is one of the biggest things you could do in AEW right now, right? Because she's so undefeated and for so long. Why isn't someone like Shida, who isn't in the women's title match? Why isn't she going after Jade? Like, shouldn't everybody want to go after Jade? Like, isn't it almost better to beat Jade than it is to be women's champion at this point? Just because it would be more prestigious.
Yeah. So like, oh, now I forget who did it. The person who beat the Undertaker.
Brock Lesnar.
There you go. See,
Yeah, you could always say that you're the one who beat Jade, and then
Yeah.
like that's that. Yeah, it's weird that like she's just the only people who are challenge. I get what they're doing. She's like, oh, she's so dominant that the only people who are going to challenge her are like crazy newcomers, right? But it is weird
Right.
that like most of her matches are like nobody's.
Yeah, and
It should be at this point. She should be with like against Britt or Sheeta or whoever, right? Like not the people she's against.
yeah. I someone tweeted out they should just at this point just have her just go after the women's title and keep the TBS title.
Right.
Because then when she eventually loses, like that's
Yeah,
where she's going next.
like Goldberg or Ultimate Warrior. They both just went after the main title.
Yeah.
And then when they won it, just gave up the other one.
Yeah, like that's right. Or she's eventually going to win the world title or lose, and then
Right.
she's already
Yeah.
All right, but you have to pick someone. This is a legit contest.
I think they're going to keep it on Jade yet again.
Oh man,
I'm going to be bored again.
2 for Jade.
2 for Jade.
I'll be happily
I went out on a limb
surprised.
twice.
Yeah, but I think they're waiting for Statlander, and I wish they wouldn't.
Hope she comes back soon.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
No, I love her, but oh, come on, man.
I liked Jade a lot, but I agree with you that like recently, like the last I don't know how long, it's just been like, yeah, I get it. Like I like Jade a lot, and I'm just like not that interested in her right now.
I'm just so bored by it, and I have been for like 6 months now.
I just think it's a nice even number as time passes the torch.
I think this is the most likely person to beat her. Like this is the one of the few times I think that she could actually lose.
Okay. The Elite versus the BCC. Anarchy in the Arena rules.
Yeah, this is a hard one.
Really?
First of all, who do you think is going to follow this match? Because that's a hard match to follow.
Probably the main event, maybe.
I hope they do put the main event after it. I hope they don't put like Jade after it or Jamie and Cody. Like I hope they don't put like one of the women's matches afterward, because that seems like a thing that they might have done in the past, and I hope they don't be like, because everyone's going to be like worn out after this match.
Yeah.
And you need unless it's the main event afterwards. Whatever match comes after it is going to be like kind of ignored. So I hope it is
True.
the main event. Anyway, my pick. Oh, go ahead.
I was saying, do you open the show with it and set the bar?
Oof. I don't know. You'd have to clean that mat up real good after.
Yeah, because Betty didn't watch the show, of course, but didn't Moxley at the end of the show say this is going to be the most violent match in AEW
Yeah,
history?
I
Yes.
did see that. I did
He
see that.
Yes,
He
did.
wouldn't say that unless he planned on making that happen.
Yeah.
Right.
There's going to be pints of blood.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's like people online are like, he's gonna be bleeding before he even gets down the ramp.
I think. Okay.
Probably.
Does he bleed before? Because they can fight anywhere, right? Does he bleed
Yeah.
with it before he even gets in the ring?
Yes.
1,000%.
I think he definitely does. I think he gets hit like in the crowd on the way to the ring, and bleeds already.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, picks.
Elite.
Let's go.
Elite.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I was unsure about this one because the Elite just got back together, so you don't want them to lose because
That's the way I'm looking at it.
they just got back together. But I do think something's going to happen with like Don Callis or somebody is going to come out and
I have a theory.
and turn on and attack the Elite. So on that note, I'm going to say the BCC.
Yes, I think it's going to be the BCC, and because there's going to be shenanigans.
Because they haven't explained the Don Callis thing yet, even though they said they were going to.
I agree. And my pick for who I don't think we're going to find out who it is yet at the pay-per-view, I mean, but I think Don Callis' guy is Punk. And that's what we're going to find. That's what we're going to find out on June 17th.
All right.
And
I mean, I guess there could still be interference. I guess like Don Callis could come out and then Takeshita could come out, and it looks like Takeshita is going to turn on the Elite, but he sides with the Elite, and that's how they win. I just think the BCC is going to win because there's going to be shenanigans.
Yeah, and it's going to prolong it if they win.
Yeah, and I think this is going to keep going because we haven't had singles matches with all of them, right? I mean, they're hanging a Kenny Omega Bryan Danielson sequel in front of us, and they have to do it. So
they have to do it.
So the feud has to keep going.
All right, Biddy, who you got?
I said BCC.
Oh, my fault. Oh, that's right. They're your boys.
Biddy's with me on everything so far.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna lose again, for Christ's sake.
Or you're gonna trance both of us. We don't know.
Yeah.
I'm probably not gonna win. I'm terrible at this. Jamie Hayter versus Tony Storm. Jamie Hayter all day.
Yes, I'm going to say Jamie Hayter, but the only reason I'm skeptical is if she's actually hurt.
Right, that's what I was going to say. I was reading that she's legit hurt, and they want her to be ready for All In, and that she might drop it until then.
I'm going to pick Jamie Hayter because I do think that they're going to want her to keep the title because I think they do want her to hold it until All In. But if she's actually hurt, then they'll take it off of her. This is my one where I'm not sure. I'm going to say Jamie Hayter though.
I'm going to go against both of you. Say Tony Storm.
All right. There you go. So this is good. This is what's going to win it for us. Probably.
Yeah.
I think it could be Tony Storm. If Jamie's actually hurt, they're going to change the title. Right. But I don't know if she's actually hurt.
I saw someone be like, "So do you think they'll put an interim title on Tony again?"
Wow, that'd be incredible.
Oh man.
Please let it happen.
That would be terrible, but also hilarious.
Oh, the saltiness of the outcast.
Oh, that'd be great. Wardlow versus Christian in a ladder match.
Wardlow.
Yeah, Wardlow. I want Christian to win so bad.
I really do want Christian to win, but they're not going to have Wardlow lose again.
There's also speculation on the internet that Christian could be working with Don Callis, which I thought of that and I was like, oh my God. If he was the one that, if he would be another Canadian turning on Kenny Omega. Oh.
Okay, I could see that. Yeah, they're all Canadians know each other, so.
That is true.
I could see that.
It's very true. Okay, so
but yeah, I think Wardlow wins because as much as I want Christian to win, it would be a really bad decision for Wardlow to lose. So.
Yeah.
Wardlow.
I mean, yeah. FTR, Triple J, Mark Briscoe, special guest referee. I mean, this one is pretty cut and dry for me too. It's
FTR.
FTR.
Yeah.
They're not taking that off of them yet.
No.
No, but it'd be
I like
so
that they
awesome.
added some intrigue to it by having the Briscoe, like Mark Briscoe, be kind of mad at both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the intrigue of that, but I don't think that they're going to switch titles.
I will say that when he was walking back up the ramp and Jarrett's wife jumped out, I 100% thought it was a fan, and I was like, "Oh, he just clocked that lady!" I rewound the TV and I was like, "Oh, okay, that was Jarrett's wife." I
That's
was like,
great.
"Oh no, Mark,
He just hit some woman.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh no, this isn't good."
Oh my gosh, that'd be dope.
Not if you were
Stay
the
in,
well, no, actually, if you were the woman, you'd probably get a lot of money.
well, stay in your seat, ho.
Oh, or that.
Well, all right then.
Wow. Okay. I think the only match left is the main event, correct?
Yes, I think so.
Well, that's been announced.
That's been announced. They might do
because
something on Rampage, but we haven't seen Rampage, so.
Yeah, because they were supposed to do something with the Owen, and I was a little jacked about.
I think they might just announce the brackets or something. They just said like the opening of the tournament, so that could just be announcing the.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I don't know, but yeah, main event.
Okay. Main
Here
event,
we go.
dude. You're Rick. I'm just saying, you're gonna love every minute of how I booked this main event.
All right.
MJF versus Jungle Boy versus Darby versus Sammy. 4 pillars. I'll go last. We'll say because I have a whole scenario with shenanigans.
I really liked Biddy's idea from last week where Jungle Boy turns, and joins MJF to show because MJF kind of said like you have to be a bad guy to succeed.
Yes.
I don't know if that happens, but either way, my pick is MJF.
Yeah, I think MJF keeps it.
Mostly because AEW always does a whole big thing for a new champion. Like they have them like do a whole, champion struggle on their way there, and they have them have like an epic win, and they're not going to give one of the other, futures of the company. I don't think they're going to give them their title win in like a 4-way match. I think if they're going to give it to Jungle Boy or Sammy or Darby, it's going to be like a 1-on-1 thing with a bigger 1-on-1 storyline.
I totally agree. MJF wins, but here's the kicker. I took what Biddy said. Jungle Boy does turn, but he's the one that cashes Sammy's check. He tells MJF that he'll take the fall for him, so he gets the check, and he screws MJF over, but MJF still wins. But Jack Perry is back with Christian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
As a heel.
As a heel, yeah.
Yeah.
He's heel, and like Christian, he's finally going to give him credit. He was like, okay, you didn't win the title, but you screwed him out of his money. It's just gonna, he just pulled a slimy move.
Yeah, I think they're going somewhere with the Jungle Boy heel stuff, but I don't know if they're gonna do it.
I don't know if he can do it.
Right.
That's why I gave him Christian.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that reunites Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. I mean, not that he needs that, but I don't know.
Yeah.
He's been kind of blah on his own, so.
I mean, he was good when he was feuding with Christian. I really liked the match, the stuff he did with Luchasaurus, the stuff he did with Christian was great. And since then, he's kind of just been like, there.
Yeah. It's gonna be a fun pay-per-view for sure.
Now we didn't talk about it when we talked about the Battle Royal, because I don't even know if he's actually in the Battle Royal. No, he's not. Kyle Fletcher, Orange Cassidy had a match, and after that match, they announced Aussie Open was All Elite.
Yes, very true.
Which I thought was kind of cool.
Great signing.
Apparently, I don't know how interested they were, but apparently WWE was interested. So.
Got him.
So that was cool.
Whoops.
I don't know how long. What's the other guy's name?
Mark Fletcher?
No, Davis.
Mark Davis.
Davis,
Kyle
that's
Fletcher,
it. Yeah. I don't know how long he's gonna be out for because he tore his knee or something. So.
I was just gonna say, I give AEW credit. Like the dude knew, like, I mean, they were signed with New Japan, but I doubt they had like any sort of like health insurance. But he knew
Did
he
you hear?
needed this.
Did
Oh,
you
go ahead.
hear what Tony Khan did?
No.
They were talking about signing them, and he said, "Oh, I need to have this surgery," and Tony Khan paid for his surgery, even though they
Oh,
didn't work there yet.
there you
Wow.
go. I
Yeah.
was gonna say Tony Khan signed him so he'd get health insurance, but there you go. He just paid
No, he
for
paid for his
his
surgery and then signed them.
Unbelievable.
But they're
Yeah.
Australian.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they
Yeah,
would
so
have health care.
the rest of the functioning world has healthcare.
Well, I know. It must be nice.
Oh no, it's the American way. How many guns you have, Rick?
Well, I don't know, none, unfortunately.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
correct answer.
And I have
is
I have a king, so I guess that's my fault.
You do.
That's
Are
actually
you
kind of
are,
badass.
are you uppity about your new passport?
No, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Doesn't have
Why do you have
enough.
to get it?
Oh,
Do
they
have
changed
to
the
put the
passports in Canada. It's a whole thing. Everyone's mad.
Sick.
Yeah. We'll talk about it later.
Weird.
And the other news this week, AEW Fight Forever is actually going to be released.
I know, and I cannot wait.
It looks
And I-
fun.
It does
it
look
looks
fun.
Super fun. Looks super fun.
My favorite part was that they tweeted, "Oh, people were worried we took the blood out. Don't worry." And then
Yeah.
they tweeted like the absolute bloodiest
bloodiest
photos.
picture. Yeah.
And it was like Sheeta and someone else.
Yeah, like there was just blood literally everywhere. And it was
And-
Abaddon.
Yeah, it was.
And like the fact that there's Mario Party type games in it, like I'm so happy for that. That's going to be absolutely hilarious. Like
I just
running
like-
around.
From what I've
Go
seen,
ahead.
it looks like No Mercy, which is a great game.
Yes.
I was just gonna say, you can
Wonderful.
tell millennials are all through this because it's like, what was the greatest wrestling game that we ever
Right.
played as kids? Let's do
Right.
that.
Right. Yeah, I think it looks really fun. It looks really good.
Yeah.
I know it's not
Oh,
like
it's gonna be
it's not like the stuff I've seen of WWE 2K23. Like the level of detail in that is insane. Like
Oh, it's
even
absurd.
like the created wrestlers. Like I've seen people create like CM Punk or Bryan Danielson, and they look perfect.
Yes.
Like
Right.
they get, and that's created wrestlers. That's not even like the people in the actual game. Like that game looks ridiculous, and from what I've heard, it's good. Like people say it's a good game.
Yeah.
But this just looks really fun, and I don't care that the graphics aren't that good. It just I don't even have like a new generation system, so I don't care about that. I just think it looks fun, and I want to play it.
Right. Same.
I hope they do like cross-platform play, because then we could play.
Totally. They have
Well, I
to do
It'd be
think
that.
fun.
is it coming out on PC and Xbox?
It's
Mhm.
on everything.
It's on everything.
Well, then yeah,
Yeah.
I think we'll be able to then.
All right, that'll be fun. Looks good. Do you
Oh,
think that they
it's-
waited because CM Punk's in it and they want to wait till he comes back?
Who knows?
Oh, that could be too. Probably.
Now, should we all just have like a moment of silence because this could be the end of the CM Punk rumors?
Oh, I'm sure he'll
No,
do
those are never
something
gonna
else.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are never gonna end. Come on.
The day of Collision, he's going to tweet, "Actually, I'm in Boston right now,"
Yeah.
just to like make people mad.
Oh, hold on. Just there's actual like I would love for this to happen. I was thinking like how easy would it be if, like, I mean, he's a millionaire and so is Tony Khan. Like what, the 16th of June, just have him get on a flight to some random place
Yeah,
and
that'd
then-
actually be really fun.
and then in the middle of the night send your private jet to go pick him up.
Right. Have
and
him be seen
bring
at like
him
the
back.
airport in Germany or something. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like getting off
It-
a flight in Germany and be like, "Oh, no, no." Yeah. Then what's her name? AJ Lee. What's her name now? April Mendez.
Yeah.
Could take like vacation photos of them on a trip and post them like during that day, being like, "Hey, I guess we're hanging out in Fritz today." And then,
Yeah.
that'd be fun. That'd be
Oh,
really
and
good,
it would-
actually. I would
and it
love that.
Explode. Oh, I'd love every second of it.
If she
I-
posted a photo of them on vacation, and someone's like, "Actually, I saw him at the airport 2 days ago. He must really be there." But actually, he flew there and she stayed, and then he went back home.
Right.
That would be great.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, Tony
Let's
Khan's
go,
rich.
sir.
Make it happen.
Yeah. I love it. Anything else?
But Double or Nothing will be fun. I'm
Oh,
excited.
Double or Nothing be great.
I'm excited for
Um,
Collision.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And we're probably.
Oh, one thing we
gonna-
didn't mention that I wanted to mention.
Let's go for it.
No, first of all, no trios match at Double or Nothing. No trios titles match, which I thought was very odd.
Oh, that is weird.
Do you think
Yeah.
they'll maybe have like a surprise because it's an open challenge? Do you think there'll be like a surprise trios match, or it's weird that they're not on it, but they're having a trios match, but it's Ethan Page and the Guns against the Hardys. Like there is no like trios titles
yeah.
match, which I found was odd.
Hmm.
And the only other thing I wanted to mention is that lighting they had effect, that lighting effect they had yesterday
awesome.
on Dynamite.
Yes.
I didn't even know what was going on until like for a while. It was like there was weird stuff happening in the crowd. I'm like, did they give everyone glow? Like, what's happening? I've never seen that. That was really cool.
Yeah, I
I
know.
loved it.
I
It was
actually
awesome.
wanted to comment on that. Yeah, it was great, and especially someone who like went for lighting and all that junk in college, and like it made it look so much cooler. I love how theatrical Malachi is with
Oh.
everything he does. Like when people roll their eyes when they're like, "Oh, wrestling, is can be an art," and people roll their eyes. I'm like, that's the guy who treats it like an art.
100% for sure. Yeah,
100%,
I really
yeah.
appreciate it.
yeah. It was just so cool. I've never seen that at a wrestling show, like where they have like a lighting effect over the crowd. Obviously, you've seen like
Yeah.
colored lights or like lights on or off, but like this was like a lighting effect that kind of moved as the match happened. It was unbelievable. I hope they keep that. That was so
Yeah.
cool.
Me too. It was badass.
And it makes me upset that they better do a pay-per-view. They better do a pay-per-view match with them.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
I feel the Hardys. I mean, yeah, they want to get Jeff in there, but like that should be the buy-in or whatever. Because
Yeah.
cares?
I hope that they like have on the buy-in or on Rampage or something, or just randomly on Twitter, like the day before the show, someone challenge another because it's open challenges. So I'm hoping some other group
Yeah.
just challenges them to a match and they get a match because like they should have a match.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Is Rampage on normal time?
I don't even know. I think so. I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Biddy probably knows. Biddy loves that show.
She's
do
the only
not
one
know.
that could stay awake long enough for it.
That's true.
That's true. You old mans.
That's right.
That's 1000% correct.
I'm like in bed with a cup of tea.
Um,
But I'm excited. I think the show will be fun.
It'll be very fun.
I think it's gonna be good. What's your pick now? What do you think's gonna be the match of the night? Like just wrestling wise, crowd wise, like just your favorite, like the best match of the night.
If Jamie Hayter isn't actually hurt, I can see that being a banger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their last
could
match
see
was
that.
really good.
Yeah.
It was really, really that's a good one.
But if she's hurt, then
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's a good call because they had when was their last match? Was it Forbidden Door?
Yes.
That was a really good match.
Yeah, I just remember the last time they went hard.
It
and
was so
dope.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good call.
I'm gonna say FTR. FTR Triple J.
Really? All right.
Oh yeah. I think they're gonna blow the doors off the place.
All right. Okay. I think Anarchy in the Arena. I think you can't
Yeah.
put all those guys in a match this insane and not have them do something spectacular.
Well, the last time there was 180, almost lit someone on fire. So.
See, that's the thing. That match was good, and like no offense to the JAS, but they're not like none of them at this point are known for their like show stealing matches or brutality or like crazy stunts. Right? They're good wrestlers, but they're not known for like crazy. But like the Elite is in the BC, like they're all gonna like someone's gonna fall off something or go through something. Or like there's gonna be weapons you've never seen in a wrestling match. Like the last time Hangman and Moxley fought, they had like a fork and a brick. Like so something crazy is gonna happen. And yeah, I don't know how they're gonna put that match anything other than right before the main event because whatever follows it, like if they put Wardlow and Christian after that match, like no one's gonna care about Wardlow and Christian or anything else, right? Like that match is going to be insane unless they do like a big segment after while they like mop up the blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could do something like that.
Just have Renee talk for like 20 minutes while they like clean up the arena.
Oh, it's gonna be so good.
Did you see how fast she moved when she was interviewing Ricky and
Yeah.
Shay. She
Yeah.
was like, "Whoop!" Like,
She's a pro in every way, man.
Yeah.
Yes, she is. Yes,
She's
she
great.
is.
Oh, do you think she watches Mox's matches where like he's destroying himself?
well, I actually heard her about that Hangman and Mox match. How she had to look away. Like she's like, usually I can watch them, but that one was like too much.
Yeah, I just figure
Mm.
if like your husband's in there like getting slammed onto broken glass, like that might be hard to watch.
Did you see the picture that she posted on her Instagram the day after the match of Mox outside with jeans on, no shirt, no shoes or socks, walking in the grass with his daughter, and his back was all like
Oh yeah.
blood from the night before going through the glass.
That's amazing.
Oh, it was. Oh, yeah, and a fanny pack on too, which
Yeah.
was, I thought was
Of course,
hilarious.
because he's a wrestler. Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm gonna go take my daughter for a walk in the yard. Better put my fanny pack
Listen,
on.
you can take the boy out of Ohio, but you can't take the Ohio out of the boy.
I saw
Yeah.
someone online today say John Moxley's been waiting his whole career to be like the grizzled, angry old man that he is today. Like
Yeah.
when he was like 20 years old, you could tell like that's all he wanted to be, and yeah, that's what he is. The guy who's like gone through stuff and like, yeah,
It's incredible.
it's gonna be fun.
It's gonna
Could
be
be
very
fun.
fun. Anybody have anything else before we go?
I talked a lot. Sorry, everyone else can talk now.
I talked a lot myself, so
Yeah, you went off there. I felt like you were that meme of Charlie from Always Sunny.
I sent that to Rick. That was 1000% what I was.
I like how Biddy didn't respond either. She's just like, yes, that happened.
I was just listening.
Yeah, I
Very
kind of hurt
nice.
my self-esteem, so thanks.
My
Totally
work
kidding.
here is done.
Earlier today, Biddy informed us that she's called us, told us to referred to us to other people as those sweet little nerds.
Yes.
Am I
Yeah.
wrong?
No, but it still hurts.
It did come full circle because we started this with me being excited that people were scared of me. So then I end with my self-esteem being ripped away that I had to just a nice little nerd. Sweet little nerd, I apologize.
Yes.
Anyways, well, if that is all then, everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy Double or Nothing. And I mean, we didn't talk about it, so I'm just gonna put everybody on the spot. I'm sure we'll probably do a bonus show, but we haven't talked about it yet. But so until then, have a good one. Later on.